Guys, a little bit more of a long-form discussion today. Going to share some insight into a project I recently did incorporating 12mm Meike 12mm t2.2 paired up with the Zhiyun crane and the Panasonic GH5. I did my first ever real estate video. Check it out. First time ever doing any real estate, videography, cinematography, you name it. And the one thing that in the past I knew I would need in regards to real estate video would be a gimbal. That was where I was able to get a lot of those sweet panning shots kind of swooping in, and everything was filmed with the Meike, the GH5, and then the drone shots obviously were shot with my DJI Mavic Pro, the older model, and you know what, it got the job done. Now that being said, the thing that I wanted to hone in on the most in regards to that particular video that you guys saw and some of the experiences that I kind of found when using this combination of glass and the stabilizer. And going ahead and getting out of the way, Panasonic GH5 paired up with this heavy lens, not a complaint, just being honest, plus the Panasonic GH5 all on here, stability was never an issue. And a lot of times I found myself for some of the pool shots and some of the lower shots, I was in the underslow mode, I was able to hold it like this. So a lot of these shots I'm shooting at roughly like a T8 or above, so pretty much everything's in focus. And then that way I'm kind of locked in with the GH5, with that whole setup, and able to kind of go in and out of rooms in different spaces. So that's how I was able to capture a lot of those shots. Now earlier I mentioned that everything I was shooting was at a T8. I think the lowest I ever went as far as the T-stop was I did a T4, and that was just because lighting situations, I was having to push the camera up to roughly like 3200 ISO, so I needed to give the camera a little bit of fighting chance. So cranking that T-stop down to the T4 at least gave me a little bit more. Anything that was outside, anything that was lit properly for myself, I was going ahead and stomping it down to a T8 or above. Also using a polarizer or an ND filter on here, it would not have been possible to take this combination and go directly outside. Even if I was going to stomp it down to a T22, I'd still have a lot of like flares and things of that nature. So take that in consideration, especially if you're going to be doing outside shooting. It's not that this lens can't perform well. I think it absolutely performed amazing, but give yourself a fighting chance and get yourself an ND filter or a variable ND. Now, I don't know if many of you can see it, but after my shoot, small little goof up, I was in the airport and this guy was doing some soccer tricks, and I'm a huge soccer fanatic. So I busted out my camera, was doing some gimbal shots, and
See it again.
Probably don't want that. Okay, so the lens is fine, but I'll be honest with you guys, that might have been the most embarrassing thing that I've ever had to do as a video shooter. Back to the point of conversation, overall that entire video was shot with this lens. and camera combination. And I found, as far as pulling focus, things of that nature, it was very easy, and it got more user-friendly as I got more used to the lens. But I bought this lens particularly for that job. I wanted to get a lens that was wide enough on those Micro Four Thirds cameras. I do have the 7.5, but this is fisheye, and it is just ridiculous. And I have heard of the Lowell 7.5, definitely functions well. But I just heard great reviews about this, and I knew that I had my 14 to 42, and I did like how wide the 14 was, but I knew if I could get those extra 2 millimeters of width, also being able to stomp down to that T2.2, it was going to give me a fighting chance for this particular apartment / real estate video. Now, I'd love you guys' feedback into what you guys thought of the edit, the shooting, you name it. And like I said, the combination for this video was strictly the Panasonic GH5 paired up with the Meike 12mm and the Zhiyun Weebill Lab. Or is this the Weebill S? Weebill S. I always forget. Regardless, these gimbals these days are pretty rockin', and I just found this one to come in handy, and I want to throw it out there to many of you guys. Before this shoot, it was completely collecting dust, and I gotta be honest with you, after this shoot, it completely justified its existence. It made its own money back, so it broke even, and that really just means that moving forward, I know kind of what its functionality is and what I can and can't do with it, and it gives me some unique opportunities as I kind of move forward in my film, videography, cinematography experiences, is that I will bust this out in many different environments after shooting this video. So hey guys, I'd love your feedback on the edit, the shooting, what you thought. As always, leave a comment, and if you liked this video, go ahead and hit that like button, and if you like the content I keep creating on this channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys down the road with a little bit more of a discussion of the Meike 12mm, but I wanted to give you guys a real life example of how it functioned and how it earned a nice place on my shelf and justified existence, coming in at $400. Now, I'll drink this beer that was just sitting there getting warm.